Aha, here we go. The boot prints. Yep, other people have clearly been here, so this is not my secret spot anymore. We're getting out of here. I'm back along the nature strip behind the house where I grew up in. And yeah, we're backtracking a bit. I want to walk back up to the main street, then loop around to the school that I went to, or one of the schools, my primary school that I went to. This suburb that I grew up in, Pacific Pines on the Gold Coast, does not feel like home anymore. No sir, it does not feel like home anymore. Even though I lived the vast majority of my life here. And one question I'm often asked by people who have known me for a while, you know, friends, family who still live here on the coast or in Brisbane or really along in the southeast Queensland region, people who still live here, people who have known me for a while, they ask me, do you miss the coast? Do you miss the city? Like, do you regret moving to the country? And my honest answer to that is no. I do not miss the city. I don't miss the Gold Coast, and yeah, I don't miss Pacific Pines. I don't. One thing that I will say I do miss, okay, there is one, that's a bit of a lie. The one thing that I do miss is where I am right now. This nature strip, right behind the house where I grew up in. Being able to walk out the back gate, walk down these trails. That is in fact one thing that I do miss. That's it. That's the one thing I miss. The beach, don't really care about the beach. The rest of the Gold Coast, the city, Brisbane, I really couldn't care less. I don't miss it. It doesn't feel like home anymore. And if you were to ask me, would I ever consider moving back? Well, it's not entirely out of the question. Let's not say never. But it's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely that I would want to move back here. I could do it very well. I could do it. But at this stage, I don't want to. I don't want to. I have a new life out there in the country. And look, I don't think I'm going to stay on the Southern Downs forever either. It's not going to be my forever home. I have elsewhere to go. Life will take me elsewhere. I have no doubt about that. But for the time being, I'm in the right place. I've got some good opportunities out there. I've learned a lot since moving out there. It hasn't always been easy. There's been hiccups, and there has indeed been times when I have said, oh, why did I move out there, and where I've missed the Gold Coast. But being here today, I realize I'm exactly where I need to be. I am in the right spot. Yeah, it's still very muddy here. Oh, that's gonna be it's gonna be a quagmire down there. It might, well, we'll check it out, but very well will probably be a quagmire down there. Oh dear. So yeah, that's it. I don't miss the city. I don't miss the Gold Coast. I don't think I want to live in a big city long term again. I'm not going to rule it out. Like, it depends where life and where opportunity takes me. I very well might live in a city for a while. I'm not ruling that out. But in terms of living permanently somewhere, I wouldn't choose to live on the Gold Coast or Brisbane or southeast Queensland. I wouldn't even choose where I'm currently living. I wouldn't. And I know in my heart that I will eventually go somewhere else. I know that. Because especially since moving, it's really awoken something in me. Like, there's now a part of me that is like essentially a wanderer, a nomad, really. I feel very much attracted to a more nomadic lifestyle of travel. That's why I love going on road trips. I love seeing new places, traveling new places, even like this now, going on a trip down memory lane, returning to where I grew up. This is certainly new. It's all right so far. Down here is going to be where it will probably be a quagmire. But yeah, like, this is probably all, a lot of these trees down are probably all damaged from the cyclone. But even last time I came here, we had a pretty big storm, Christmas 2023, and that had a lot of damage. But yeah, even this just looks different. Like, wow. Okay. path is alright. It's alright for now. Yeah, it's a bit muddy, but it's not too bad. Another apartment complex just up there. Alright, it'll be alright. We'll be fine. Just apart from these trees, it's pretty clear. Dun, 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 dun. Onwards and upwards. Doesn't appear to have been too long since they last mowed, but yeah, it's still very wet because of course they've had a lot of rain here as well. And yeah, getting back to my point in a previous video, like even this hill here, I remember like used to always walk here, and it's like this seemed like such a long steep hill. It seems like nothing now. Like my perception of size and distance has changed big time. It doesn't seem like such a steep hill at all anymore. Just climb up there and I'm up there. Out on the Southern Downs, being out in the countryside, everything just feels bigger because, well, it is. Very interesting. I remember just going out to the countryside, observing just wide open spaces, how big everything seemed. The hills, the mountains, the blocks of land, everything bigger. I've now adapted to that, so now coming back to the city, everything just feels small. It's just surreal. It's incredible when you spend some time away from a place how much it can apparently change in such a short amount of time. It hasn't even been that long, 3 years. Many things look the same, but yeah, just the feel is different. And that's probably because, well, I mean, while there might be a few superficial things different, like yes, okay, some of the vegetation is a bit different, trees have grown, damage from events like storms, people moving around, a few changes here and there, but I think ultimately the place hasn't changed that much. I mean, I'm making a bit of a big deal about nothing really. The fact is, Pack Pines hasn't changed all that much. It's me that has changed. I'm the one that has changed. Not Pack Pines, not the Gold Coast. I've changed. People change, places change, and again, getting back to the idea of impermanence. Everything we experience, everything around us is impermanent. Everything within and without, it's all impermanent. Places change, places don't stay the same, nothing is stagnant, and likewise, we're human, we grow, we evolve, we change. Nothing is stagnant, nothing is stagnant, nothing stays the same. So yeah, ultimately I think Pack Pines has certainly changed, the Gold Coast has certainly changed, but overall in these last 3 years I've changed much more. And I often think about what would my life be if I hadn't moved to the Southern Downs. If I hadn't moved away from Pack Pines, what would my life be? Well, it would be different. I would be a different person to who I am today. My life would have taken a completely different track. I don't know whether I would be better off or worse off. I can't answer that, and it's all hypothetical, so there's no point really thinking about that too much. But ultimately right now I know that I am on the right path and I'm content with all the decisions I've made. Have I always made the right decision? No. I've made mistakes along the way, no doubt, and I will continue to make mistakes because I'm not perfect. I'm human, I make mistakes. So yeah, I have made mistakes, I've messed up at times, but ultimately at this stage of my life I have no regrets. No regrets, and that's really something that's really going to be my goal going forward, just to live a life with no regrets. Of course I'll make mistakes, things that I'll wish, like, damn, why did I do that? But ultimately I want to have no regrets because everything happens for a reason. That was a good decision to go the long way around. Coming up on the primary school now, the school rush is over. If I would have gone the other way, I would have been right in the middle of it. So yeah, that was definitely a good choice on my part. Very familiar streets once again. Still a few cars around, might be some staff that are staying back. Yeah, still some after school activities going on, but here we go. Park Lake State School. One of my primary schools. I went to three primary schools actually. Two main primary schools, one of them doesn't count. Park Lake State School. I only went to this one for 2 years, 2013, 2014, grade 6 and 7. So these days, primary school is grades 1 to 6 and high school is grades 7 to 12. When I went to primary school, my cohort was in fact the last year where grade 7 was a part of primary school. So in fact, when I went from primary school to high school, there was actually 2 years, like both year 6 and 7 students were moving on to high school. So that was pretty funny actually. Both grade 6 and 7 in my year in 2014 got like, you know, senior shirts, like primary school senior shirts, because we were both moving on from primary school. So that was quite interesting, quite an interesting change to the schooling system, where grade 7 got shifted from primary school to high school. It's funny, later on then I eventually had to repeat a grade because I moved on back when I was in high school. I moved to a different high school halfway through, and different, you know, curriculum, all that. I had to, so I was doing the standard Australian curriculum, and then eventually I moved on to an IB school, did the IB diploma. So yeah, I had to repeat a year because of that, which was a bit of a bummer at the time. Did the IB program, got my IB diploma. That's when I got out of high school. And yeah, it's funny, so I would have then been mixed with the cohorts that were part of grade 6 when I was in grade 7s, because I had to repeat a year. So yeah, funny how that worked out in the end. But yeah, Park Lake State School. Out of all the schools, this is probably the one where I actually have the fondest memories. The main primary school I went to, I was there from prep, so which is preschool, till year 5. So I was there for 6 years, and then I went to this one, Park Lake, for grade 6 and 7. Then I went to the local high school, which is a bit further away, but I actually drove past it earlier. Flooded Gum Park, yep. Still the same, still the same. I'm just like walking through this suburb, just scanning things. It's going, this is the same, this has changed. It's like, just thinking to like, just imagine like, as time goes on, like just thinking like, experience how older people would have returning to perhaps their home where they grew up. I mean, it just must be just surreal, just a surreal experience. This down here is again Saltwater Creek, the one you saw earlier. This waterway, this leads through here down to that park that I was at in the other video. And yeah, here the stream looks it looks a lot cleaner because it flows right through this nature strip here, and from before that it actually flows through National Park, Nerang National Park. So yeah, the water is very clean here, you can see that. And yeah, it goes down to that park there, and over there it gets very dirty, unfortunately. So yeah, here it still looks very clean, lush, green, pristine nature, clean water. Yep, and my car's parked just up there. We're not going to go back to the car just yet. We're going to take yet another detour, another path through the nature strip. Here we go. The nature strip now in fact has a name. It is River Gum Park Nature Conservation Area. Yep, I'm still parked there. I can see that clearly. Another small apartment complex. Ooh, a bush turkey. Yeah, this trailer here behind this apartment complex is exactly the same. This is exactly the same as I remember it from last time. It's really up there and along some of the streets where things have changed a lot. Ooh, someone has left a helmet here, hard hat. Okay. Someone left it here. Getting back up to the main path that we were at before. Probably only have a bit more than an hour left of daylight. So I'll go to the central part of the suburb where all the shops and the central park is, as well as my high school. I think that's going to be a good time for the evening. And yeah, there's a good viewpoint up on top of that hill there. We'll go up there and watch the sunset, which would be an excellent way to end up the day. Just come up to this clearing here that not many people know about. Just down there behind these trees is the nature strip, or behind these houses there, that's the complex I walked next to. And then the path that goes behind where I live goes all through here. I can't even see that path properly anymore. Like every time I would come up here, I could like see down that path clearly, and yeah, almost towards my house. But wow, I can barely see it at all. A lot of these trees here have clearly grown. Like that's what I noticed, the vegetation, everything has just grown like noticeably. Now, like of course growing up here and living like 15 plus years in this suburb, of course trees grow in that time, but living here day by day you really don't notice. But now coming back, things like that, I'm really picking up on that. Like hang on, this view is not exactly the same as it used to be. Really interesting. So yeah, we now walk down to the park, now walk back to the car, and yeah, continue on our trip down memory lane, uncovering the hidden secrets of Pack Pines. All right, the car is literally just there, the red one, but we don't go back yet. We take yet another detour. Flooded Gum Park Nature Conservation Area. Let's go. This is the thing, man. I'm going around my home suburb, like literally I'm just getting distracted by everything, and I'm just so curious how has everything changed. 11 months ago when I was here, I did in fact check out this area, because yeah, down here is another spot that I used to come relatively often. Yeah, we're pretty close now to the back of that sawmill that I mentioned previously. I don't know exactly how I'm going to put these videos together. It'll probably be a small series of videos, my trip down memory lane to the Gold Coast. In fact, I'm only going to be here for today, and then tomorrow we're leaving the Gold Coast, heading to another city. I'm sure you can guess what that city is. What other big city is there near the Gold Coast? Yeah, I used to always walk down here. That looks to be, is that still walkable? Yeah, it's still walkable. All right, we continue down this way. That will lead us, something's happened down there. All right, we're gonna check that out. First of all, let's get to the back of the sawmill. All right, spy on their operations. Onwards and upwards. Not very stealth, I know. Not that I'm trying to be. Ah, yes. I see it. Saltwater Creek, again, same creek. Still looks alright here. It's after it goes through where the sawmill is, that's where it becomes filthy and disgusting. Sounds like there's some operations happening. Where is the boundary? Aha, here we go. Here we are. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so this goes up to yet another apartment complex. And in here is the sawmill. Hang on, let's find an easier way. This looks so suspicious. Okay, pretty clear on here, luckily. Aha, here we go. There is the back fence. Yes, we have the sawmill. There you go. See some chimneys, piles of timber. There's some activity going on. Back fence right here, some logs, and yeah, processed timber. There we go. The smell of timber. And lantana. There's lantana here. I smell that distinct. Yes, here we go. Lantana. Unfortunately, this weed is in fact here. Wouldn't really come here often. It's like this has always been there, but yeah, just want to see their operations a bit. All right, our final stop will indeed be, well, the secret spot. Yes, that's what I called it. I come up with the best names. But now we're going to head down to the secret spot because never seen anyone else down there. As far as I know, I'm the only one who spent time down there, but it's clearly not the case, because I'm sure last time I was there was in fact signs of human activity, so it's not quite my secret spot anymore. Yep, it's not my secret spot. I can see boot prints. Yep, other people have clearly been here, so this is not my secret spot anymore. There's some sort of structure down here. Could this perhaps be a homeless encampment? I wonder. Those boot tracks looked fairly recent. We're getting out of here. Alright, there's a bunch of tarps and tents down there, so it looks to be a homeless encampment. So it's certainly not my secret spot anymore. It's been taken over. Didn't want to go any further. There was some debris that had been piled up. Looked like they were building some sort of fortification, and I did hear some voices in the distance, so don't quite want to encroach down there too much. Although what I can do is I can go around the other side of the creek, and there's another spot that I like to go, and I can probably see over there from that side, so I'll go wander there. I'll be on the other side of the creek, so we'll be safe enough, don't worry. Well-marked trails. There it is. All right. We're back at Saltwater Creek. This specifically here, this was all overgrown before. There was no path here. And this is the secret spot I was telling you about, right around here and across there. There's like that was meant to be like a park over there. There was like a remnants of a park bench and all that, but it never got turned into anything. I see the tarp over there. By the way, I was just kidding about hearing voices before. I didn't hear anyone. This clearly looks to be evacuated. But yeah, people were clearly using it for something. Some sort of structure. What do we have here? Okay, there's some sort of structure here, or what are the remains of a structure? A tarp. Yeah, so someone's clearly using zip ties, debris, trying to construct something. It looks like this was a tarp. They were trying to create some sort of shelter here, but yeah, must have been destroyed in a storm or perhaps a cyclone. So yeah, there's a bunch of debris piled up there. This must all have been flooded during the cyclone especially, and all the rain that they've been having, similar to the Southern Downs. So you can see there's a bunch of debris from where it's flooded. This doesn't look that old as such. Last time I was here, this area was all clear. There wasn't that much around. Go up and see if the remnant of the park bench is, in fact, still there. Whew. Man, I'm starting to work up a sweat. It is not too hot actually. It's nice and cool down here, but overall it's quite humid. Yeah, all right, bunch of debris. Yeah, up there I can see the remnant of an old park bench. There was like a metal frame of a park bench just up there. I'll show you. I'll put the previous video, but yeah, there's been a lot of destruction, devastation here. There's debris. I don't want to walk through that. Yeah, I don't want to walk through that in shorts without any extra protection. That's debris. That's oops, someone's hooting. Can you hear that? Even when I grew up here in Pac Pines, there was a bit of an issue around hooning. Yeah, just maniacs driving their sports cars. Okay, that's it. That's it. This is a lot overgrown. Plus there's damage probably from the cyclone and all these crazy wet conditions. But apart from that, still the same. So yeah, okay, you guys did see the secret spot after all. It hasn't been taken over by homeless, well, not anymore. All right. Now we finally get back to the car and continue on this journey. Now you see, this is what a trip down memory lane is like. Just all these memories are coming back of the time that I grew up here and spent here.